Herzlich willkommen bei Wagner Classic Oil. Ich bin heute in Birmingham auf der Classic Motor Show. Die Classic Motor Show findet auf dem Messegelände des NECs statt, in der Nähe des Flughafens. Und ich möchte euch jetzt teilhaben lassen an der Show. Ja, wie ihr selber sehen könnt, ist die Messe sehr gut besucht. Wir haben heute den ersten Tag und wir freuen uns hier über eine Vielzahl an Besuchern. Und ich werde euch jetzt teilhaben lassen an der Show mit sehr vielen Impressionen. Bitte dranbleiben und weiter unseren Kanal verfolgen.
So what do you think of the show so far?
Look, I've been here the third time.
Yes.
And what I can see is here, the show runs different, like in Germany.
Okay.
So we have a lot more car manufacturers. This is related to the UK law. But Roger, you can introduce yourself and let's talk about this situation in UK.
Well, yeah, I'm Roger, Vincent Pickard. I run Classic Engine Workshop Limited here in the UK, not too far from the Classic Motor Show at Birmingham. And today we've been walking around with Walter and having a look at what the show has to offer. And one of the things that's very clear between the German and the British car scene is that legislation-wise, there's a difference in what people are allowed to do to their vehicles. So in Germany, I think it's required that the car must be original to qualify as a historic vehicle.
Yes.
Whereas
after 30 years, you can get a so-called H plate.
Yes.
So the plate is ending with a H.
Yes.
And the car must be in the original conditions. This means no modification, no setup at the bodywork, for example.
Yes.
And this is the situation. Yeah, Roger, you can tell me a little bit more about UK.
In the UK, there's a huge enthusiast scene, and that's a split between people who enjoy the originality of their cars and like to keep them very original, but also there's a great deal of modification and modernization that goes on with the cars, and this is where the what's known as the resto mod scene comes into play, where people are fully restoring and modifying the cars to bring them up to modern levels of performance and connectivity and those kind of things, which is very different, I think, from how they would have come out of the factory, say, in the 1960s.
Yes. That's right.
But keeping the original look and feel, but modernizing it for today's roads. So we see all sorts of all sorts of brilliant things that people do. You know, lowering their cars, making them look sportier, removing bumpers, those kind of things, which I imagine would be frowned upon in the German car scene. And there are no holds barred in the British car scene. We're allowed to do whatever we like to them. Although, of course, we still have purists, you know, people who really like to keep the cars exactly as they came out, with every circlip and fuse in the right place. And other people who don't care about such things, and they like to tear them apart and do
so what I have seen is
there
are a lot of companies, they do modification on the engines.
Yes.
So what I have seen over there is they're replacing carburetors to an injection system.
Yes.
So I like this idea. Yeah.
Yes.
To make the car drivable, I will say. So
it is. Yeah. I mean, it makes them much more drivable, reliable, tractable. They can cope. Those systems can cope very well with modifications as well. So it's very easy to adapt the fuel injection system to higher performance camshafts or modified cylinder heads, bigger valves, those kind of things, and still keep the road manners that you want from a car, which you want to drive under all sorts of conditions, you know, for touring, driving around town and racing, track use. They're all covered by that. So it's a far more flexible system and very popular with classic car modification scene.
So especially your passion is also engines. Tell me a little bit more. So what you're doing? What is your passion?
So the core of our business is restoration of classic cars. Purely the engines is all we deal with, and most of the work we do is Jaguar, Aston Martin, Mercedes, and Porsche. Yeah. So those are our four that we do most. But of course, when somebody comes into the workshop with an interesting project, we always get involved, regardless of what make or model it is, because the scene is driven by enthusiasts, and that's what makes it fun to work here.
As I understand it, right, the customer bring you the engine in.
Yes.
The original one, and you do the modification.
Yes.
So for example, the piston size is modified, the cylinder head is modified.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, we do. I mean, pretty much everything can be done. We can have the whole crankshaft remade in a solid billet, for instance. Yeah. We have custom rods, connecting rods, custom pistons, everything like that can be made from scratch now with CNC machining. Almost anything is possible, and of course, recreation of original parts, which are becoming more difficult to get hold of. Yeah. Then we can very easily make those. We can very easily make those parts anew. Yeah. So there's less problem with parts availability than there used to be. Mm-hmm. But of course, as soon as you start saying, oh, I'm going to remake crankshaft, you think, oh, maybe I'll give it a slightly longer stroke, or I'll make it lighter, or I'll make it better balanced than the original, or whatever it might be. So of course, this becomes the core of how people start to modify things. So we do full kits. We do an Aston Martin V8 kit, which raises the capacity to 6 litres, and has custom camshafts and CNC ported cylinder heads and huge numbers of minor modifications that go together to make it an altogether more reliable unit than it ever was in the factory as well. So, you know, these are the kind of things that customers are demanding now, and with the value of the classic cars rising, we can now afford to do those things.
Sounds good, Roger. Huh?
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a great. It's a great business to work in.
I can feel your passion, honestly speaking. Yeah.
Yeah, we love it, and it's a pleasure to work in an industry where the customers are enthusiasts as well. Yeah. This is not a necessity, of course. This is the leisure industry. You know, people enjoy these things. They're their passion. They care about them very much, and they're part of their lives, and they're willing to spend the money to make them into the special things that they deserve to be. Yeah. And why not use modern technology? I mean, we use all sorts of stuff. We use 3D scanning technology. We use CNC porting and cutting technologies. You know, and of course, with the kind of products that you offer, we offer modern liquid engineering as well, right? Yeah. And that's one of the great things we can do as well. The modern oils and the additives are extremely important in protecting the future of these cars.
Yes, you're right, because the car industry are sitting together with the oil industry on a round table.
Yeah.
And they're setting up the specification. Yeah. So what I realized is in the past that specification is quite good.
Yes.
Yeah? So the engine runs properly, it lubricates, and all the benefits you get. But what I realized is it's not the technical maximum, what we can do. And with that concern, I came to know 30 years ago. Yeah? So what I did is I developed several additives to enhance the property of an oil. So what we're doing is, or first I want to explain is that every oil, which is in the market, it creates wear and also raw metal surfaces.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but we can do exactly the opposite. Yeah, we can optimize the metal surfaces, we can smoothen the metal surfaces, and all the testimonials we did and all the tests we have seen that we have a much more better metal surface.
Yes.
This means finally in an engine or in a gearbox, it runs smoother,
Yes.
less friction,
Yes.
better compression, yeah, fuel reduction, better emissions, yeah.
So these are tremendous benefits
Of course.
that can be utilized to protect the investment that people are making in these classic cars.
Yes.
I mean, the older oils are quite unsophisticated, I think, whereas the modern version of those oils that you've created adds in something that was never available originally.
Yes. So now we're talking about additive technology.
Yes,
yeah?
that's right.
So additive technology is quite advanced. Yeah.
Yes.
But we can do more. Yeah. And this more we are providing. Yeah. This means the customer can have these benefits.
Yes. So
very easily. Yeah?
I know that one of the technologies that you employ is the ceramic.
Yes, the microceramic light compounds.
The microceramic additives.
Yes.
Now, are those acting? Do they form a layer onto the base metals that are between each other, or are they specifically there to lubricate between them? How are they working?
A lubricant, an oil.
Yes.
Has a lot of properties, I would say.
Yes.
This is first of all spreading the metal parts from each other, so that we have no direct metal contact.
Yes.
So once it happens, you are creating wear. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the question is always which kind of metal do I have, and how I can optimize this.
Yes.
So what we're doing is with the microceramic technology, we add an artificial solid lubricant, I would say.
Okay.
Which has more properties, like in comparison to a graphite or an MOS2.
Yes.
Molybdenum disulfide.
Yes.
Or PTFE. Yeah. Especially once it comes to the friction coefficient. So we have a much lower friction coefficient like PTFE, for example, or graphite. And the temperature specs we have, for example, graphite is pure carbon. Yeah?
Yes.
It burns by 500 degrees Celsius plus, it's gone to CO2.
It's gone, yeah.
Also, the molybdenum disulfide, it's a metal sulfur combination.
Yes.
And the sulfur reacts by temperature from 400, 500 degrees with everything. Yeah? This means it creates deposits.
Yes.
And the deposits are everywhere in the engine.
So it has a short lifespan, essentially, and slowly then begins to combine.
And it will be consumed. This means, it's gone. Yeah? And it creates headaches, I would say.
Yes.
Because it creates deposits on the piston head, on the outlet valves.
Yes.
And
so those products, they burn on and they create a problem with it. Yes, exactly,
ashes.
Yes.
And the microceramic withstands, I would say, 3000 degrees Celsius plus.
Yes.
This means such a temperature you have not even in the peak in the combustion.
You're not going to even see that under any circumstances within the engine.
This means that what we have seen is that the exhaust gases, this means the bad exhaust gases, will be reduced very much.
Yes.
This means what happens there. So now we know. So
this is because we are not seeing burnt products of the additives coming out through the exhaust? Or
No. This is related to another concern, I would say.
Okay.
So in all application, we add the microceramic in it into the engines. We have seen less bad exhaust emissions.
Okay.
Like unburned hydrocarbons.
Yes.
HC.
Yes.
Soot.
Yes.
Yeah. And CO, carbon monoxide.
Yes.
So why it happens? So after inspecting the metal surfaces inside the engines or in the cylinder wall, we can see that the microceramic solids are still sinking into the raw metal surface.
Yes,
yeah?
Indeed. Okay,
And
so
the microceramic acts like a catalytic converter. Yeah.
Okay.
This means the microceramic particle heats up, and we have a so-called afterburner. Yeah.
Okay.
Inside the combustion chamber, or while combusting. Yeah.
Yes.
And this is very unique, and it's amazing because after treatment, you'll have more energy output. Yeah, the energy you put in with the fuel will be combusted much more efficient. Yeah, and this creates better, more efficient combustion with more horsepower, with more torque. Yeah, and a better acceleration.
Okay.
Along with a reduction of the noise.
So that's beyond...
And temperature. Temperature is the most important point.
It's so interesting because that's beyond just simply reducing friction. It's much more than just reducing the friction. I think that's fascinating.
To maintain or to lubricate, properly, we need to do more than only spreading the metal parts from each other.
Yeah. That's really interesting. So you've worked with this technology for many years.
Since 30 years.
Yeah. And you've got a big following, I understand, in Germany. There's a lot of people who love your products.
In the past, it was very difficult to launch this product because the lobby, the lobby from the car industry does not want that such a product has been launched at that time.
Okay.
This means they have also a lot of bad articles has been written, in the magazines about additives. So now, after I would say after the Dieselgate from Volkswagen in 2015, the world has been changed. This means the customer is looking more into the techniques, so what they're doing, and they find that some, I would say, third-party companies like we are in the market and doing exactly the opposite. And that's very amazing to see. Especially the customer behavior has been changed. This is what I really like. And all the conversation we have with the customer is such a brilliant, because they are looking deep into questions that have come, which I got never before. And we have seen a very, very fantastic situation. Especially the feedback from the customers, such are amazing. So everything what we are adverting, are we getting back from the customer as feedback?
Yes. So you're finding that the customers are seeing the benefits that you're claiming. Because of that, you're gaining a tremendous following in
along with all the developments, we did all the measurements what we can do in the laboratories.
Okay.
So related to the lubricants, this means we have done all testimonials.
Yes.
With a fantastic result.
Yeah. I mean it's wonderful, and to see that you have a technology. The technology is driven by research and experimentation. You've developed products, and those products are delivering for your customers. Gives such a high level of credibility compared to a lot of the products on the market today, which don't have that backup, that background to rely on. So I think it's fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to seeing those products in the UK, which I know they're very difficult to get hold of here, right?
Therefore, I'm here.
Yeah, exactly.
So, first of all, to meet each other in person.
Yeah, perfect. I mean,
the last half year we had only Zoom calls. So now we have met us first in person.
I'm so grateful for you to to make the effort to come over and fly over and see us. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing how we can
let's develop that further.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great relationship.
I'm quite sure that we can do here a great job and have a lot of success with our products. Because every customer which in touch with, will come back.
I think so.
Yeah,
I mean,
yes.
that's what I've seen with your brand. It's driven by passion. The customers recognize that. They keep coming back to you. You know, your brand is built on repeat custom and people who understand that you are offering something which other manufacturers do not offer.
Yeah.
And I think that's fascinating.
So along with that, additives, oil additives. We're talking about oil additives.
Yes.
So I launched some more specific products for the classic car
Yes.
market. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For example, a solid-free additive,
Yes.
called a classic oil additive, especially for pre-war engines.
Yes.
Because the microceramic technique, we have a huge content of solids inside. Yeah? This means, for example, once we add to the additive to a standard engine size, for example, 2-liter engines. So we add around 40 grams of pure microceramic solids, which is a huge amount.
Yes.
And
so for the earlier engines, we're adding more content, microceramic content.
No, because it's related to the oil bores in the crankshaft.
Right. Okay.
So in the earlier times, it was not possible to drill the small holes
through the crank.
Through the crank.
Yes.
And therefore they made it like this. Yeah?
Right. Okay.
And therefore we have so-called centrifugal forces.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. And if you have a car or an engine in original condition,
yes,
it might be possible that the oil bores are filled with soot particles already. Yeah.
Yes.
Once you add additional solids, it might be possible that we have a clogged oil bores.
Indeed. Yeah.
And it will end up in the
engine failure. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And therefore, I recommend, for example, not a solid additive or solid lubricant additive for classic cars, especially for pre-war cars.
Yes. Okay. Understand. And is there a difference, Walter, between the treatment that or the oil that you would add to an engine that's, for instance, been freshly rebuilt versus one that is in its original condition?
Yes,
that has higher mileage.
Yes, of course. This is related to the product line or product folder I've developed in the past.
Yes.
So this is starting from unalloyed single-grade engine oils to heavy-duty single-grade engine oils and multi-grade engine oils.
Okay.
Specially adapted to the metals which has been used in that time for the bearing metals. Yeah?
Yes.
And for example, we have untouched engines from the 50s.
Yes.
Which have never been opened.
Never been apart. Yeah, exactly.
So what do you think, what is inside?
Well, bigger bearing clearances than standard, I guess.
Course, yes.
You're going to see bore wear, but potentially some some smoke production at the exhaust.
Yes.
Those kind of things.
Yes. Look, for such an engine, you should never use a modern oil, because the viscosity is too low. And it has also detergents inside.
Yes.
And this will keep your engine clean from time to time.
Yes.
And might be possible that removed dirt, deposits, varnishes will clog the oil bores.
Yes.
Or the engine is going to leak. Yeah.
Yeah.
And therefore we have to take care using.
So this is a really interesting idea. Perhaps if somebody had an older engine which has never been restored, has been a long time since it's been rebuilt, or it's maybe even factory original, they do not want to put in cleaning products into that. You don't want to be flushing the engine. No. You don't want to be removing those, because some of those deposits may actually be forming part of the sealing of the engine.
Yes.
So that's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Which is counterintuitive to a certain extent. I think a lot of people would probably think, oh, actually, I've got an old engine, it's got carbon deposits and all sorts, I'm going to clean it. Yeah. Well, that's the wrong thing to do.
This is, look, I'm working in that business in 30 years.
Yes.
And now you can think about how many cases came up in the last 30 years. Yeah. Can you imagine? So now we know how to handle this, yeah, and especially give the customer the perfect recommendation.
Yes.
Yeah, this is
so do you have a database of cars?
Yes, we have.
And the recommendations for products that you would use with those.
In the last 30 years, I collect a lot of car manuals.
Yes.
And also in Germany, we have I would say it's a unity of the oil manufacturers.
Yes.
Yeah? And they came up with I would say with a catalog.
Yeah.
Of oils which has been used by these specific cars.
Okay.
They started in the middle of the 50s till now, and these records we are using, and these records are very, very fantastic because also the content or the volume which we need to add.
So and is this just for engine oils, or is this also for gearbox, transmission oils, differential oils, those kind of things as well?
Any kind.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so that level of data is really useful.
You can also have an access to. It's in German language, but it's especially the specs are international. So for you, it's no problem to have also, or you can use these records for your work in the future, of course.
Yeah, fantastic. I think that's incredibly useful because that shows that you understand the connection between the product you're selling and the customer's vehicle, which I don't think any other oil company that I know of cares whether they make that connection.
Yeah. So
and they rely on the customer to understand what they need.
Looking to the UK market. So I'm here since the third time. What I have seen here is no oil culture.
No.
So this is my speech. I developed this speech. Yeah.
Yes.
So because I developed the oil culture in Germany. So starting in the mid of the 90s, launching classic oils or specific oil for classic cars.
Yes.
I was the first one in Germany who did that. And so we've been nearby on every classic show, or even on small auto chambers. We are was present.
Yes.
And we came in touch with the customer, and with all the knowledge or the feedback we will get back from these clients, I developed this project further. And then in the beginning of 2000, I started advert my products or my product portfolio.
Yes.
In the classic car magazines. Yeah.
Yeah.
So later on, the journalists came to me, and we are discuss about the situation, why to use specific oil for classic cars.
Yes.
Yeah? And as you know, that wide range of cars or different kind of models which has been produced in the past, you need to take care. We need to take care absolutely. Back to the UK market. So I have seen no oil culture here because nobody take care about the classic oils. Of course, we have some providers.
Yes.
They provide classic oils, but they do no support. There is no passion behind what I can.
No, and you can't. There's certainly nobody that I know of that you can phone up and discuss, what is right for my car, or you can get accurate. Data around what's required, service intervals, what's right for my engine depending on what condition it's in, and that sort of level of definition around the right products for your vehicle, and that level of personalization. That doesn't exist, I don't think, here, and that's something I'm very excited to bring to the UK market.
So this is the challenge for us, to start with. And to create I would say, a customer family,
Yes.
Which are following up us.
Oh, there's Ollie.
Yeah.
Yeah.